Let's dive into a simple story that holds a really powerful secret. It's an idea called acres of diamonds. Now, this is a parable that literally helped build a university. But, more importantly, it has the power to totally change how you see the world, and maybe even spot the massive opportunities you might be missing, like right under your nose. So let's dig in.
Come on, we've all felt it, right? That little nagging feeling that the real success, the big break, it's got to be somewhere else, with someone else. You look at what other people are doing, and their situation just seems so much better, so much greener. Well, this whole explainer is designed to challenge that exact feeling.
And it all kicks off with a pretty simple story, really. It's a cautionary tale about a man who had absolutely everything he could ever want, but he couldn't see it.
Okay, so our story starts with an African farmer. And look, he was content, he was doing just fine, until he started hearing these incredible tales, stories about other men far away who were discovering diamond mines and becoming fabulously, unbelievably wealthy almost overnight.
And these stories, they just lit a fire in him. He caught a serious case of diamond fever. He got so obsessed with this idea of finding his own treasure somewhere out there that he made a huge, life-changing decision. He sold his farm, said goodbye to everything he knew, and set off to find his fortune.
So he searched, and he searched. He spent years, in fact, the entire rest of his life, just wandering the massive African continent, always chasing that sparkle that was just over the next hill. But his search, it turned up absolutely nothing. And in the end, just completely worn out, totally broke, and utterly lost in despair, the farmer gave up. He threw himself into a river and drowned. His dream of finding some distant, incredible fortune, it ended right there, in tragedy.
But wait, the story doesn't actually end there. See, back at the very farm that he had sold, the new owner was out walking his land. As he was crossing a little stream, this brilliant flash of light from the stream bed caught his eye. So he reached in and pulled out this really curious shiny stone.
He didn't think much of it, just thought it was a cool-looking crystal. So he took it home and put it on his fireplace mantle as a decoration. A few weeks go by, a visitor comes over, sees the stone, and his eyes just go wide. He tells the new owner, that's not just a crystal. That is one of the largest diamonds ever discovered.
And here is the huge, powerful twist of the story. That farm, the one he couldn't wait to sell, it turned out to be the site of one of the most productive diamond mines on the entire continent. He had owned, completely free and clear, literal acres of diamonds, and he sold them for almost nothing to go look for them somewhere else.
It's a gut-wrenching story, for sure. But what does it actually mean for us, right here, right now? Well, it's way more than just a tale about a farmer. It's a really deep lesson in perception and about learning to see the incredible value that is already all around us.
And this is the core idea, just perfectly captured by Russell Conwell. Look, the moral isn't to never leave your job or never seek change. Not at all. It's to realize that often the greatest opportunities we're searching for are lying right there, dormant, within our grasp, in the job we have now, in the community we're already a part of.
So when we talk about your acres of diamonds, what we're really talking about are all those overlooked opportunities that are sitting right where you are. It's about having the wisdom to really, truly explore your own job, your own skills, your own neighborhood first, before you just assume the grass is greener somewhere else. Okay, a parable is one thing, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it looks like people who train themselves to see what everybody else just walks right past.
So, let's take the story of Stu Leonard. This guy started out with a simple dairy delivery route, but instead of just dropping off milk, he started thinking. He started asking, what do my customers really need? What would make this whole experience better? He didn't just sell milk, he created an experience, a store built around a working dairy, making shopping fun. And then he just kept listening and adding the things his customers were asking for. That simple little delivery route, it eventually became the largest dairy store in the world. He found the diamonds in his own backyard.
This really boils down to two totally different ways of thinking. The average mindset, it looks over the fence at someone who's successful and thinks, man, I should be in their business. But the diamond miner's mindset, it asks a completely different and way more powerful question. How can I serve my people better? They explore their own work with fresh eyes, getting themselves ready for the chances that are already right there in front of them.
So the big question is, how do we become diamond miners? How do we actually start digging in our own backyards? Well, it all starts by asking a different set of questions and adopting a whole new perspective on the work we're already doing.
One of the most powerful tools you can have for digging is a relentless, almost obsessive focus on service. Stu Leonard famously had this policy carved into a giant 3-ton rock right at his store's entrance. And that mindset, of putting the customer's real needs at the absolute center of everything, that's what uncovers the hidden diamonds of opportunity. It forces you to find new and better ways to serve.
So how do you find your diamonds? Try this out. Tomorrow, don't just go through the motions at work. Take just 1 hour to really break down what you do. Ask yourself, how can I genuinely increase my value today? How good am I really at my craft? Ask what your customer or your boss or your team needs but isn't getting. Think about it. How is this job going to be done in 10 or 20 years? And how can I start doing it that way right now? Look, the temptation to just run away from our frustrations, it's universal. We all feel it. But the real lesson here is that lasting success rarely comes from escape. It comes from triumph. It's all about overcoming challenges and creating innovative solutions right where you are, turning those very problems into your greatest opportunities.
So, before you decide to sell your farm, before you get totally convinced that the grass is greener somewhere else, just take a second. Look down. The massive opportunities you've been searching for might just be scattered all around your feet, waiting to be noticed. The only question left is, what diamonds are waiting in your backyard?